In most of the FNAF games, sound cues are often used to assist the player in gameplay, with some games even being designed purely around the mechanic of sound. Sound design helps to enhance the horror of gameplay. But with some game knowledge also gives the player enough clues to make calculated guesses and decision making regarding animatronic movement and positioning.
He's in 5, he just moved to 2, we're gonna seal 2. He moved back to 5, so now we're gonna do a M5 vent cancel. So if we see static in the Cam5 vent, we won't cancel the animation, it'll seal it on him.
Well, in the game where we have to keep track of the most animatronics, this rule is no exception. Sound cues are used all throughout Ultimate Custom Night. And in this video, we're going to see if it's possible to beat Ultimate Custom Night's 50/20 mode without any sound. I hope you enjoy. Because my Ultimate Custom Night AI breakdown is still in the works, this video isn't going to go too deep into this game's AI. We'll just cover what we need to know in simpler terms. Also, just as a heads up, the script for that video is only 1/5 done, and it's already 30 pages, so yeah, look forward to the Bones 5 feature-length film on this game. Now, let's get into the rules for this challenge. We're going to have to beat Ultimate Custom Night's 50/20 mode on the vanilla version of the game without any sound. So, no UCN unlocked for Zor spawns. Also, for fun, we'll ban power-ups, but honestly, these don't really make a difference overall. Now, I still recorded the game with sound, so I can explain strategies better when we get to them, but you'll see that I have my headphones off, and I tried to tie my hair back so that I could show my ears. Unfortunately, there's no camera angle that I could use with my current PC setup that would show both of my ears, so you're just gonna have to kind of trust me on this one. With that said, let's get into this challenge. First, I'll be going over a simplified version of the 50/20 strategy. Then, I'll explain what we're gonna have to change in order to complete 50/20 without any audio cues. Our 50/20 strategy revolves completely around the death coin. When you block an animatronic at a door or event, click Helpy, or just mouse over them on the cameras, you'll collect Faz coins. These can be used in the prize corner to buy plushies and the death coin, with the death coin costing 10 Faz coins. Our goal for the first portion of the night is to get 10 Faz coins to buy the death coin as fast as we possibly can. However, if you try the intended method of farming Faz coins by going from camera to camera and mousing over them, you'll soon realize that it's way too slow, but also you're in a lot of danger from many different threats when you're in the cameras for so long. So, we're going to exploit the fact that blocking animatronics at the doors and clicking Helpy gives us Faz coins, while setting up other tools in the office that we can work with throughout the night. The most common way of doing this is to place an audio alert in the ducts near the left corner, then place a vent snare on the left, then go to Toy Freddy's camera and block off Mr. Hugs. Then you simply flip the cameras and close the right vent over and over again until you have enough Faz coins. However, if you're a bit more advanced and you want to look super cool, which is mostly why I do it, you can actually blend these two steps into one, and farm Faz coins while you place the audio lure, vent snare, and block off Toy Freddy's camera, which looks like this. Make sure you're in the office for no more than a second to avoid Golden Freddy, and whenever Balloon Boy stands up, you quickly flick over with your flashlight and flash him down. You can also take note of who's on the desk. If it's Foxy, add a check in there to reset his progress. Now here's what that looks like in real time. Once you've bought the death coin and erased Funtime Foxy from existence, you're gonna have to deal with Plushtrap. This funny guy right here is Zor. Zor has a 1/2 chance to spawn on every 10 plus 1 second interval, so 11, 21, 31, etc. Plushtrap is always going to show up in Funtime Cove 14 seconds after Zor. So an 11-second Zor would result in a 25-second Plushtrap. A 21-second Zor would result in a 35-second Plushtrap, and so on. If Zor spawns at 11 seconds, wait until the 26-second interval to avoid Rockstar Bonnie. Then watch Funtime Foxy's camera to get rid of him. If Zor spawns at 21 seconds, do the same process but for 35 seconds. If Zor spawns any later than that, the strats are more in line with no death coin routes, and we'll save that for the guide video. Once Plushtrap dashes away, set your monitor on camera 2 and drop the cameras. Congratulations, you've now completed 90% of the difficulty for 5020 mode. From here on out, you're never going to take your cameras off of Cam 2. This will stall all 3 of the plushie animatronics without ever needing to buy their plushies. Now, for the rest of the night, we're going to do what's known as office stalling. Basically, only a few select threats can spawn or interact with us when we're just sitting in the office. These threats are usually the ones that end up being really annoying for this challenge, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, we just sit in the office and wait until the ventilation's about to go out. Reset it, then wait again for as long as possible, and repeat until the night is over. This is a gross oversimplification of the 5020 strategy, but for our purposes in this video, it's all you need to know. Now, let's get into some of the character changes when we take off the headset. These are all of the characters that I found to be affected by not having access to audio. Let's start with some of the easier characters first. Freddy, Balloon Boy, and JJ all have the same problem. When you close a door in Ultimate Custom Night, whatever character is ready to attack will bonk on that door after a certain amount of time. For almost every character in the game, this is 0.5 seconds, and for Freddy, it's 1 second. Without sound, we don't know when these characters bonk, so this can lead to opening doors too soon, or leaving them closed for too long and draining power. I found that during the beginning coin farming sequence, I would often open the vent too early and let BB or JJ in. And during the stalling portion of the night, I wouldn't know for sure when Freddy was gone, so I drain a lot of power keeping the door closed on him. Chica and Music Man are both taken care of with the GMB cycle. I chose not to include this in the main strategy portion, but it's essential for completing 5020 mode. On every 14 second and 44 second interval, you want to turn the global music box on. On every 1 second and 31 second interval, you want to have the fan and power gen on. Normally, you need to listen for Chica in the kitchen and Music Man's symbols to know if you're in danger. But as long as you stick to this cycle, you'll never make enough noise for Music Man to get angry, and block every single one of Chica's opportunities to progress. Though if someone else begins to make noise from an error, it's impossible to tell if Music Man is angry. So it's best to not let that happen. Nightmare, Fredbear, and Nightmare are some of the harder animatronics in this challenge. On every 5 second interval if the cameras are up, they have a chance to spawn. When they spawn, they'll make a laughing sound that pans to either side. Obviously, we can't hear this sound. Luckily, they do provide a visual cue when they're in the office as well. You can see their glowing eyes in the darkness of the doors. Closing the door on them for 0.5 seconds will cause them to bonk and leave, similar to Balloon Boy and JJ. However, our main issue with Nightmare and Fredbear comes when we're using the cameras for extended periods of time in the beginning of the night. In a normal 5020 playthrough, we can just hear the laugh and close their respective doors while we're managing other animatronics. But here, we are forced to look at each door to see if they're there. Once Nightmare or Fredbear spawn at a door, you have 3.33 seconds on 20 AI to get rid of them before they jump scare you on the next cam flip. So it's a good idea to never be in the cameras too long. I found most of my deaths from these two when death coining Funtime Foxy or when watching Plushtrap. The only times in the night that you're in the cameras for an extended period of time. Phone Guy can also be a bit of an issue in this challenge. With all of this stuff going on in 5020 mode, it can be kind of hard to notice his mute call button, and you don't know to look for it because you never hear him calling. If the office is dimly lit, like when Shadow Bonnie appears, or when the ventilation's about to go out, it's easy to see the mute call button against the dark background. But when we're dealing with a bunch of different threats at once, sometimes Phone Guy would end up calling, and I'd end up losing to Music Man because I couldn't see his mute call button. That was a good one. That was a good one. I can't lie. That was a good one. Now, our last two animatronics are far and away the most difficult threats for this challenge, and they are Ballora and Afton. Ballora and Afton are the only two animatronics in UCN that are based purely around sound. So, how do we deal with them? In a normal game, you'd hear Ballora's song from either doorway. Once the song begins to play, Ballora sets a 2.83 second timer for her attack. You'll have to close whatever door she's at and she'll bonk on the door. Afton is pretty similar, though he'll always come through the right vent like BB and JJ. Once the crashing sound starts and the lights begin to flicker, you'll have 1.167 seconds to close the door. Once those 1.167 seconds are up, Afton will check if the door is closed or not. If it's closed, he bonks. If not, he attacks. So, how can we deal with Ballora and Afton? Well,
I could hear you breathing.
Yeah, they can be a bit difficult. Though there is a way. You see, whenever Ballora and Afton show up, the screen begins to flicker. And if you're on the cameras when Ballora shows up, she disables them. Though reacting to this flicker will decrease the overall reaction time you have compared to a normal Ballora attack. The screen flickering only starts once you're 1.66 seconds into the attack, giving you 1.17 seconds to react to Ballora. We don't know what side she's going to be on, as we don't have any sound, so we'll have to close both doors and reopen them when the flickering stops. However, Afton throws a wrench into this whole plan. The screen flicker between Afton and Ballora is almost indistinguishable without sound. So, in addition to having to close both doors whenever the flickering starts, we'll also have to close the side vent in case Afton shows up. Afton has a 1 in 4 chance to show up every 29 seconds, and it'll only appear once in the night. But we can never take the risk of just closing Ballora's doors unless we know for sure that we're not on Afton's intervals. Unfortunately, they tend to sync up pretty well. Ballora has an AI in 40 chance to attack every 14 seconds, so every other opportunity that she has to attack shall only be within 1 second of Afton's interval. And this brings up another problem. Ballora and Afton aren't the only animatronics that cause this flickering effect. Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica will cause a less intense flicker when they enter the office for a blackout. What's really annoying about this is that Toy Chica's interval is the exact same as Ballora's. So we'll pretty much always have to close both doors whenever Toy Chica shows up. So our overall strategy here is to close all 3 of the side doors every time the lights begin to flicker in order to deal with Ballora, Afton, Toy Chica, and Toy Bonnie. Unfortunately, this is going to lead to us bleeding power. UCN is pretty unforgiving when it comes to having multiple sources of power on at once, so we're going to have to go green and optimize as much power as we can everywhere else in the game. The first step is the beginning section that I talked about earlier. When you coin farm the cool way, you're spending much less time on the cameras overall, leading to a greater power save. The second power save has to do with Foxy and Bonnie. This figurine on the desk here determines which of the 2 is currently in Pirate's Cove. If Foxy is in Pirate's Cove, he's going to start slowly progressing into your office until eventually jump scaring you. So we always want this figurine to be Bonnie and not Foxy. In the old days of 5020, players would close the front vent in the left door, then pull up the cameras to change the figurine. But it was found that changing the figurine isn't triggered by being on the cameras, it's triggered by the animation of the cameras being pulled down. So you can do what's called a 0 frame flip. By mousing over the camera button just as you press the S key, you'll never actually be on the cameras, but you can still pull them down. The figurine has a 1 in 3 chance to change every 2 seconds. So ideally, you'd 0 frame flip every 2 seconds until Bonnie was back on the desk, saving loads of power over the door closing strategy. Our last green running strategy has to do with Phantom Freddy. Phantom Freddy will slowly materialize as time goes on. Once he's fully present, he'll jump scare you, forcing any vent characters that are waiting during the office stall out, ending your run. Normally, you would just use your flashlight to get rid of him. However, this won't deter him for long. If you fully flash Phantom Freddy away, he'll be back and ready to jump scare you in 20 seconds. But if you let him jump scare you, he'll be back to jump scare you in 50 seconds instead. Interestingly, when Phantom Freddy does his jump scare, he doesn't trigger the vent animatronics right away. They'll actually be forced out 20 frames after his jump scare. So if you close the front vent right as Phantom Freddy jump scares, you can block all of the vent animatronics from jump scaring you and save a ton of power. With this, we can make up some of the power that we lose in dealing with Ballora and Afton. Now, let's get into the run. Normally I'd cook up some crazy montage of the challenge completion here, but instead I want to do something different for this video. Because I never layer the game sound over the montage, I can't really show what makes this harder than 5020. So let's go through the completion so you can see all of the strategies that I used without sound. Let me know in the comments if you like this style better than the super hype ending montage. And also, if you've watched this far into the video and you're enjoying so far, it would be really cool of you to subscribe. But only if you're enjoying the video. Remember that I did record game sound, I just didn't have my headphones on. So you guys will be able to hear game audio, but obviously I wasn't able to during the challenge. With that said, let's get into how I beat 5020 without sound. Within the first 10 seconds, I'm doing the usual coin farming strat. Unfortunately, I do miss a lot of possible coins from Balloon Boy and JJ from opening the side vent too soon, as I can't hear them bonk on the door. I would always make sure to keep looking for the dark spots on the doors for any eyes. Nightmare Fredbear ended up spawning in on the 10-second interval, so I was able to take care of him pretty easily. Luckily, we do get the earliest possible Zor spawn at 11 seconds. So we're gonna watch Plushtrap at 26 seconds to avoid the Bonnie duo. Once I had all 10 of my coins around 16 seconds, I was able to get the Death Coin and get Funtime Foxy out of the night. Because of how the coin farming turned out in this night, I was actually able to Death Coin Funtime Foxy while avoiding every possible 5-second interval, meaning Nightmare and Nightmare Fredbear didn't have a single chance to spawn. We get our first phone guy call here, but because Shadow Bonnie is present and it's in the middle of the screen, it wasn't too hard to notice. While watching Plushtrap, I noticed that the cameras go out. This means that Ballora is here. Remember, she disables the cameras when she attacks. So we close all 3 doors in case Afton is also present. Ballora visually disabling the cameras doesn't do anything to affect Plushtrap. So I just stay on his camera for a while longer, then set the monitor on cam 2. From here, we begin the office stalling portion of the night. We pass by a few Ballora intervals and Afton intervals, but neither of them spawn. At 1:10, I have to do the first Phantom Freddy jump scare. Unfortunately, El Chip spawns at the exact same time, but I was still able to clutch it out. At 1:25, we have the Ballora Afton combo. I have no idea that Afton is there, so I'll still end up closing all 3 doors on every flicker, but he is gone for the rest of this night. At 1:50, we get a Toy Chica and Ballora combo. At this point into the challenge, I was about 2 hours in, and I was starting to pick up the slight differences between Toy Chica's blackout and Ballora's blackout. So sometimes I could save power by not closing both doors every single time Toy Chica showed up. At the 2-minute ventilation reset, literally anything that could happen, happened, and I end up having to use the max power bar in UCN. I don't think anyone's ever even seen this screen before, draining a whole 8% in the span of 2 seconds. With 36% power pace at 4 AM, I was ready to finish this challenge. I just had to clutch out one more cam flip and I'd be good to stall out the rest of the night. With 16% power left, I knew I didn't have to risk doing the Phantom Freddy green run strategy. So I would just flash him for the remainder of the night. With 20 seconds left, all I had to do was manage my power, and 50-20 would be beaten without sound. Yes, dude. Finally. Yes. That was such an awful challenge, dude. I did not like that. Wow, okay. Oh yeah, other ear. No AirPod, nothing going on there. Good to be done. Good to be done that one. What's up, guys? We're back at the Tree of Life. It's been a minute since the FNAF Lock video, but yeah, I wanted to go outside for this one. So this is just the outro for this video. I do have a few quick announcements I want to make. First and foremost, if you want to see me actually have some fun for once, no challenge, no masochism, well, sort of a challenge, but you get what I mean. I'm going to be doing a 12-hour stream, probably more than that actually, where I 100% my favorite game of all time in one sitting. I'm going to play Super Mario Galaxy 2 the entire way through on stream for you guys, and it's going to be f***ing amazing. If you're looking forward to that, make sure you tune into that stream whenever it happens. I will stream the entire game. It'll probably be like 15, 16 hours. Be pretty cool. Secondly, this is probably the most important one. I am looking for a merch designer. Anyone that has experience with clothing brands or anything of the sort, I would like to start making official the Bones 5 merchandise. I forget who made it in the Discord. I will put their name on screen, but this beautiful plushie here is another thing that I would really like to make into an actual, plushie. But also some t-shirts. I'm thinking this kind of like merch style, if you know what I mean, like this kind of vintage beat style, I think looks really cool. So if you know anyone or you yourself are a merch designer that could work with something like that, you can contact me by joining the Discord and DMing me on Discord, DM my Instagram @thebones5, or you can email my business email at thebones5business@gmail.com.
all those would work perfectly. Last announcement, I will be attending Otakon. It's a convention in DC. My friends and I go to it every year. Unfortunately, I'm not important enough to have like a panel or anything, but I will be there. If you see any of these characters that look suspiciously like me, that might be me in cosplay with my homies. So who knows, maybe you'll see me there. With that said, thank you guys for watching this video so much. Thank you for the support. We're almost at 100K. It's actually insane. UCN will be coming. It's a long video. It's gonna take a long time, but I hope to get it out soon enough. With that said, thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.